troops on U.S. bases in Europe housing nuclear weapons have been using publicly accessible online flashcard apps to remember long and complex security protocols, the investigative website Bellingcat revealed on Friday. The military personnel turned to sites such as Quizlet, CheckPrep and Cram to memorize codes, jargon and even the status of nuclear vaults, according to the report. While European governments generally refuse to confirm or deny the specific locations of U.S. nuclear weapons being stored within their borders, leaked documents, photos and comments by retired officials often confirm the presence of the weapons. The latest leaks, however, have gone so far as to identify the exact number and location of the weapons within the bases, including whether the vaults they are stored in are hot, with live weapons, or cold. How did Bellingcat discover the secret information? The author of the investigative piece, Feek Postma, explained that the researchers were able to discover the flashcards belonging to the active soldiers by searching for certain terms known to be associated with nuclear bases. The result was the unearthing of several sets of flashcards revealing information about several bases around Europe, including in Germany, the Netherlands and Turkey. One set of 70 cards with the title Study disclosed the number of live and non-live nuclear weapons at the Volkel Air Base in the Netherlands, which the Dutch government considers a secret. Other sets revealed how soldiers are supposed to react to various levels of alarm, where security cameras are located on site, and duress words that soldiers give over the phone to show that they had been, for example, taken hostage by attackers. Technologies that revolutionized warfare. AI. Third revolution in warfare. Over 100 AI experts have written to the UN asking them to ban lethal autonomous weapons, those that use AI to act independently. No so-called killer robots currently exist, but advances in artificial intelligence have made them a real possibility. Experts said these weapons could be the third revolution in warfare, after gunpowder and nuclear arms. Technologies that revolutionized warfare. Gunpowder. The first revolution in warfare was invented by the Chinese, who started using the black substance between the 10th and 12th centuries to propel projectiles in simple guns. It gradually spread to the Middle East and Europe in the following 2 centuries. Once perfected, firearms using gunpowder proved to be far more lethal than the traditional bow and arrow. Technologies that revolutionized warfare. Artillery. The invention of gunpowder also introduced artillery pieces to the battlefield. Armies started using basic cannons in the 16th century to fire heavy metal balls at opposing infantrymen and breached defensive walls around cities and fortresses. Far more destructive field guns were invented in the 19th century and went on to wreak havoc in the battlefields of World War I. Technologies that revolutionized warfare. Machine guns. Guns that fire multiple rounds in rapid succession were invented in the late 19th century and immediately transformed the battlefield. Machine guns, as they came to be known, allowed soldiers to mow down the enemy from a protected position. The weapon's grisly effectiveness became all too clear in World War I as both sides used machine guns to wipe out soldiers charging across no man's land. Technologies that revolutionized warfare. Warplanes. Military thinkers did not ignore the invention of the first airplane in 1903. 6 years later, the U.S. military bought the first unarmed military aircraft, the 1909 Wright military flyer. Inventors experimented with more advanced fighter and bomber aircraft in the following years. Both became standard features in many of the national air forces established by the end of World War I. Technologies that revolutionized warfare. Mechanization. Armies had traditionally used soldiers and horses to fight and transport military equipment. But around World War I, they started using more machines such as tanks and armored vehicles. Faster and more destructive armies were the result. Nazi Germany put this new form of mechanized warfare to destructive effect in World War II using an attack strategy known as blitzkrieg, lightning war. Technologies that revolutionized warfare. Missiles. Although artillery was effective, it had a relatively limited range. The missile's invention in World War II suddenly allowed an army to strike a target hundreds of kilometers away. The first missile, the German V-2, was relatively primitive, but it laid the foundation for the development of guided cruise missiles and intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBM, capable of carrying nuclear warheads. Technologies that revolutionized warfare. Jet engine. Jet aircraft first saw action alongside traditional propeller airplanes at the end of World War II. Jet engines dramatically increased an aircraft's speed, allowing it to reach a target quicker and making it far harder for an adversary to shoot it down. After World War II, military reconnaissance planes were developed that could fly higher than 25 kilometers, 15.5 miles, and faster than the speed of sound. Technologies that revolutionized warfare. Nuclear weapons. The second revolution in warfare announced its horrific arrival on August 6, 1945, when the US dropped the first nuclear bomb, Little Boy, on the city of Hiroshima in Japan, killing between 60,000 and 80,000 people instantly. In the Cold War that followed, the US and Soviet Union developed thousands of even more destructive warheads and raised the specter of a devastating nuclear war. Technologies that revolutionized warfare. Digitization. Recent decades have witnessed the ever more prevalent use of computers to conduct war. The devices made military communication quicker and easier and radically improved the precision and efficiency of many weapons. Armed forces have recently focused on developing cyber warfare capabilities to defend national infrastructure and attack foreign adversaries in cyberspace. Author, Alexander Pearson.